Hello and Hafaday, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Ken Nicholas. The three of us are not Ken. Our fearless leader is off on assignment right now, but we are going to attempt to dutifully sit in his place and bring you really cool information about really cool movies. Once again, Real Talk is brought to you by the very fine folks at Tango Theaters, where you can actually find assistive technology, you guys, to watch movies. If you are in need of hearing assistive technology, they will actually set you up and you can actually partake of these wonderful devices that let you experience the movie in a very rich way. So Tango, I mean, everybody deserves to enjoy the movies.
Yeah.
Movies are awesome. So thank you to our friends at Tango Theaters for providing that awesome tech and for sponsoring this show. We really appreciate it. And I am joined by two lovely ladies today. Mariah Ramos from I-94 FM. Hello, Mariah.
Hello.
And very tactically and strategically seated in the middle, because Lacee Martinez Francisco is way over there. And even though you are my auntie and I love you dearly, and we are teammates on KUM Digital in the newsroom, we were talking about some of the movies that we're going to talk about today, because of course Thursday is Valentine's Day and we're talking about rom-coms, romantic comedies, and your opinions could not be more diametrically opposed to mine. And dare I say, you are wrong on every single level, and we may fight.
Well, I'm here to actually listen to your case.
And then laugh.
You're right. Yours. I mean, I don't really have much to offer, because I thought about it and like, wow, I can't sit here right now and remember like the great rom-coms, but I can definitely listen to you and think of what's not a rom-com or what you think is a great rom-com. I'm just here to listen.
So basically, she's going to listen to everything that my mouth produces, which is probably going to be crazy, and then systematically shoot it down.
I'm not going to do that.
More or less. Okay.
But I definitely want to hear what you're going to say.
I really wish we could have recorded what you were saying in the newsroom, because I threw out like a couple of my favorite rom-coms over the years. You may have used 7 or 8 four-letter words to describe my taste in movies. I gotta start recording this.
To each his own, and I guess it depends on what you think a rom-com is. Yeah. Maybe that's something that we can kind of establish.
Okay. Good on you. Okay, because I was hoping for the format, ladies, is each of us has picked our 3 favorite rom-coms. Mariah's got like a list of like 900. This is only page 1.
I was trying to remember. This is the New Testament
of Mariah's like list of favorite romantic comedy. So basically, we're going to pick our 3 favorite.
I did already.
Attempt to, and then we'll just go around robin. But first of all, Mariah, let's start with you, because you love everything TV. You love the movies. You love streaming, everything like that. What are, besides the obvious 2 elements of making a rom-com, what are the key ingredients that go into making an effective romantic comedy?
I don't know, because there's a different I like what people are doing now with kind of deconstructing it in a way that we don't know, that we haven't seen. I think one of them is, man, I looked up like, articles about it, and I just, you read it and you're like, oh, okay, and then you didn't really retain it. So I'm not helpful right now. But I think what makes a romantic comedy is 2 people, whatever side of gender or they fall on.
It doesn't always have to be 2.
Or it could just be
polygamy.
one.
Polygamy is totally cool. I mean,
I haven't seen that yet.
This is 2019. I mean, everything is cool. However,
yeah. Or just they fall in love. There's like a will they, won't they. There's always a conflict. Like what puts them kind of against whatever.
May I also add some context? I just thought about this. I hadn't even considered this prior. In terms of romance and love, with Valentine's Day coming up, Mariah, you very happily have a boyfriend now.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Happily don't have a boyfriend.
Oh, my condolences. Or congratulations, depending on...
I happily don't have a boyfriend.
Okay, happily do not. Okay, so...
Happily don't have a boyfriend.
That's news to me, because I thought she was, happily happy. And Auntie Lacee, you are very happily married now, you and your lovely wife.
Yeah.
Terry is awesome. We love her here. And I, of course, am a single pathetic loser that no one in their right mind would touch with a 10-foot pole. So
Same!
Huh? No.
Are you guys qualified to talk about this today?
Yes.
No, just kidding.
Well, we like movies. Okay,
of course,
I was
going to
say, then Lacee, before we get to you, I've noticed, because I'm the oldest here and I come from the 80s, right? There was this movement in film to try and say, let's throw a major curveball at the audience, because it's not always the good guy winds up running away with the pretty girl. The quarterback doesn't always get the cheerleader. Going back to like the John Hughes movies, like 16 Candles, the dork, aka me, doesn't always wind up,
but
being happy at the end.
And you got the hot girl though in 16 Candles. Remember, Ted got the other girl.
Are we already alluding to your favorite movie here?
We're gonna get to that.
So you're talking about this kind of like not anti-hero.
The anti-hero, definitely. I would say it.
And what you were saying, Mariah, in terms of there's some sort of conflict between the characters.
Yeah.
There's adversity within the storyline.
It could be themselves or another outside force.
So that's what you think the 80s genre brought together, kind of the Ducky syndrome, I guess.
Blaine? What kind of a name is Blaine?
That's not a name, that's a major plane.
There you go, thank you. Yeah, so...
Well, yeah, that's your expertise. Or
and then in the 90s, it became more... the grunge era was happening. As far as what was going on in society and culture, there were more divorces than any other time in human history. People were beginning to explore relationships on levels that they previously had not. So, you get, the really grungy, scaggy, uneducated guy winding up getting, the debutante. Because it went back to the fact of, hey, romance is pure, love is subjective.
Yeah.
Morality is ambiguous. Whatever attracts you to somebody else, anybody can be happy.
Yep. I think another factor.
There's hope for all of us.
Yeah, there's hope. Like there's hope in some movies. Either they end up together or they don't.
And I think a rom-com the big focus of the movie should be about the romance. If you're going to call it a rom-com, it can't just be kind of a side piece, which is why we're here to debate that. It's kind of the leading.
I hope we would debate. I hope this wouldn't be.
I mean, it may not be a debate.
Set me up to be dissected.
Right. I don't want to disappoint you, but our viewers here, but right, it should be kind of the focus for me. A big part of that has to be about the romance, not just kind of this, just a side dish.
Yeah.
And just kind of part of the plot.
Okay, on that point, thank you for bringing that up, because I have as one of my honorable mentions. It didn't make my top 3 list, but Boomerang, 1992, with Eddie Murphy, with David Alan Grier, with Martin Lawrence, with Tisha Campbell.
Had a really good soundtrack too.
I
Yep.
don't think I saw that one.
You've never seen Boomerang. So Boomerang was interesting because the guy, he literally was a dog. He was, he was the epitome of a player. And he still wound up getting the girl at the end and wound up, for some reason, seeming virtuous. It's like, oh, he deserves that. Dude.
Like, did he? Is one of those questions?
Worse.
So why is this one of your honorable mentions then, if you have this kind of look of disgust on your face? Because he wasn't, the guy messed around with like everybody. He tried to get Robin Givens so much. He finally did, but he realized that he was in love with, Eddie Murphy was in love with Tisha Campbell, who he stole from his best friend and then had absolutely no remorse and continued to pursue her and then wound up with her in the end. And it was supposed to be this like fairy tale romance, but I was like, wow, when you actually break it down, that's a messed up story.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a lot of messed up stuff in rom-com. Like there's always, they're condoning cheating or, hurting someone else to get that person that you want. Like I've noticed that now. As a kid I was like, oh, this is really nice, but now growing up you're like, hey, they're condoning a lot of really abhorrent behavior. Right.
And a majority of these just kind of scanning romantic comedies and looking at lists, and they all have that. A lot of it has that element of kind of cheating, including my favorite one that I've brought, maybe the only one that I might talk about.
So perfect segue. We'll start with you.
We won't start with me because I'm not ready for that. But let's start with you, Jason. Let's go with what you were kind of leading on in terms of the 80s.
Okay, so one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is a proper romantic comedy. I can identify with it in so many ways. Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, the one with
1987, I do believe.
With the Patrick Dempsey?
That was the world's introduction to Patrick Dempsey.
Or girl, Dr. McDreamy, as everyone else knows.
Yes. McDreamy, yep.
McDreamy.
The late Dr. McDreamy, unfortunately, even though that happened like 4 years ago.
Thanks for that spoiler alert. I had not yet watched.
I'm sorry. You've not streamed the rest of Grey's Anatomy. Whoops.
I haven't started yet. I feel like I'm not ready to commit my life the way that everyone else has.
Okay, well,
14
FYI.
seasons, that's crazy.
Yeah, okay, and the very tragic story of his co-star, that beautiful blonde girl whose name, I'm sorry, I can't recall, but she died of a drug overdose.
Oh.
Several years later. Yeah, but everything about, he was, and it's kind of like a retelling of that age-old story. There's nothing in the world, no reason at all why this guy should have the hottest girl in school. She was, her parents had a lot of money. Mm-hmm. She dressed incredibly well. She was incredibly popular. I believe she was a cheerleader captain.
Probably.
Yeah. And then she wound up spilling. She was at some party and she spilled red wine on a white suede, totally 80s jacket with the satin.
Oh my God.
Or, with the
like the fringe.
Yeah, with the tassel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so.
Oh God, never. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
suede and white.
And so Patrick Dempsey is the lawn boy. And so he goes, okay, well, I've got some money that I'm saving up to buy this telescope. If I cover your debt and buy you a brand new, jacket so that you won't get in trouble and everything like that, you have to pretend to be my girlfriend. And they wound up, they hit it off, and she finds out that he has a pure heart. He's a good person. And I was like, wow, what a beautiful story. And he winds up with her at the end.
That's cool. That's cute.
Yeah.
So what are the elements of this movie that kind of made it to your top?
Well, the fact that Patrick Dempsey played a dork, really, I may be able to empathize with that on more than one level. Just the fact that it was a really, really good story, and it talks about, there's so many buckets that people can fall into when you're in high school. Are you a jock? Are you a Dungeons and Dragons person? Are you, president of the chess club? Are you, the studious type and everything like that? And everybody gets segmented and encapsulated into these things, but
but those are just labels that don't really define you or shouldn't really define you.
Exactly, but it does, because that's
high school.
That's society.
Yeah, that's just, yeah.
And there's even that one critical scene when when the jocks are going to go after him, and then Patrick Dempsey finally stands up and he's got a baseball bat and he's about to go at these guys and his fellow dorks, and they even say dude, in 3rd grade we were all friends. We all hung out. We slept at each other's houses.
Yeah.
You broke your arm falling out of the tree, and we all carried you back. It's like, where did this all go so wrong? And it's
puberty.
Yeah. And it's also Can't Buy Me Love actually came out right before I started high school, so I was like, wow, this is what high school is going to be like.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just a beautiful movie. It's very funny, and it touches you in a very personal way. At least it did for me. So that's my number 3. How about you, Mariah?
My number 3 is 50 First Dates.
Ooh.
One of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. Kind of before his movies got a little cringy.
He has not made good Netflix movies.
Yeah. So 50 First Dates is my favorite because... Actually,
the Mariah with Stories is very good if you haven't seen that.
Oh, okay.
But all the other ones are crap.
But 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore, I love their team-ups. And I don't know, the movie's so funny. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe he lies to her a little bit, but then I think, after we get over that, when he helps her every day with her memory, like, hey, we met, and, he makes his little videos. I think it's just so cute and one of my favorite movies and so funny. Like, I can quote a lot of scenes from it when I was a kid, and I still do it now.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Yeah, so I love and, there's a parts where you can cry, family moments, so I think it's one of my favorite movies.
What's also interesting is, and this is the Adam Sandler movie that movie blew me away. Blew me away is the wrong phrase to use, but it really surprised me and shocked me that he didn't cure her at the end. It's a happy ending, but I was like, wow, I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, he still continues to do the movies, the videos whenever she wakes up.
Okay, well, did you go through the whole premise of the movie? Because
sorry.
It took me a little while to warm up to this. When that movie came out, there were a lot of things happening in my life. So I kind of watched that just a couple of years ago. And I, too, was kind of like, aww. Yeah. So tell us more about this movie, Mariah.
So he's a serial dater. No, not a serial dater. He hooks up with a lot of women that visit Hawaii because he's a veterinarian, right?
Yeah, he's a vet at, I believe that's Sea Life Park.
Yeah, at an aquarium.
Have you ever been to Sea Life Park?
No.
It's amazing in Honolulu.
No, I'll go next time.
There's so many Guamanians who go to Hawaii, go to Oahu just to go to Sea Life Park.
So he's a womanizer. He has tricks. And then he meets Drew Barrymore's character, Lucy, at a diner when, his boat, I guess, breaks in the ocean because he's testing it to go around the world, or to go to Alaska. So he meets her, he's like, wow, who's this beautiful girl? They make, a Waffle House, just cute. And then he starts to, really get to know her. But then one day when he comes back, he's like, I don't know who you are. And he finds out that she has short-term memory issues. So she can't make short-term memory, but only retain the long-term, I guess. She got into an accident.
It's a beautiful story that they actually, once they set it up with her dad and Sean Astin as the brother.
Yeah. I thought I love Sean
dude's
Astin's
hilarious.
character. Yeah, Doug. I love him in that
He's
movie.
like working out and everything, and then the dad's like, "What am I going to tell? Oh, my stupid son."
Yeah,
Because he's all roided out, and, you know, he's got that god awful lisp.
And isn't this kind of based on a true story? I thought I heard there is some.
I don't know.
Oh, you never looked it up. Oh.
You know what's crazy?
No.
I've actually heard that they said they kind of got inspired for the screenplay for 50 First Dates based on Cyrano de Bergerac.
Oh.
Which is kind of a stretch, considering that, you know, it's not exactly like, okay, I'm an untalented person and somebody's feeding me lines about how to be Mr. Romance.
Because he's helping himself. Yeah. Pretty much. Or the videotapes are helping him.
Now I think about it, Cyrano de Bergerac and Roxanne are not on my list. But that's a great rom-com.
Okay.
Daryl Hannah and Steve Martin and Rick Rossovich from Top Gun. Sorry. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, 50 First Dates is one of my favorites.
That was not even on my radar, but that's a good pick.
It's one of my favorites. I mean, it's not as raunchy. I mean, there's some adult humor in there that aren't safe for kids, but you know, it went over my head. But now I love it so much more.
That was what, 03? 04?
04.
04? Okay.
Yeah. We have the soundtrack and we have the DVD.
Nice.
And I still watch it when it's on TV too.
Very good. Auntie Lacey, number 3, please.
I do have a Julia Roberts movie, and it might seem obvious. Do you guys have any Julia Roberts movies on this list?
Not me.
No. My Best Friend's Wedding, and it has a lot of these elements that we just kind of mentioned in terms of adversity and also not doing the right thing.
She was not a good person in that movie.
Right here, my nephew.
Okay.
High five, because
let history reflect that we actually did agree at one part, because it's going to get a lot worse, trust me.
You know, back in the day when this movie came out, there wasn't much to do. We didn't have the internet yet. Yeah. It wasn't a full-on thing. So we watched movies once or twice or 3 times if we really loved it. And I would argue with my friends about this movie because Julia Roberts was a horrible, horrible person in this movie. She was awful. But it doesn't take away from kind of the romance that happens and the self-realization but it still involves 2 people, at least 2 people.
Yeah.
It's about, and if you haven't watched this, I mean, who hasn't watched this? You've watched this movie,
I've watched
right?
it, yeah.
Okay.
So
don't Cameron Diaz and Hugh Jackman make a great couple?
I wouldn't say that.
Wait, is that Hugh Jackman?
No, that's Dermot Mulroney.
Okay, I'm sorry. Dermot Mulroney.
Right. Dermot Mulroney. Isn't that weird? The Dermot Mulroney and
Dylan McDermott.
Everybody
gets those.
Kind of like, because they also kind of look the same. Tall, dark, and handsome-ish type
Only
of people.
one of them was in Young Guns, though.
Dermot Mulroney?
Yep.
Okay.
Dirty Steve.
Well, so, and this is something that when we watched this, all my friends, we went and we pinky swore, like on our 28th birthday, if we're not married, you know, we're going to marry each other. Luckily, I don't think any of us had to do that. But she, her friend calls her up, one of her best friends, who she's had this kind of like a unrequited love for a long time, or maybe not unrequited, but just like you just didn't know, like all of a sudden he's meant to be me, and it becomes this whole thing where she's asked to be the best man, and she realizes she kind of gets jealous and territorial and decides that she's going to take him back, and that's going to be her lover,
she's going to be the bride.
Whatever. She's going to be the bride.
And she treats Cameron Diaz like crap.
So, and of course,
she's so mean to her.
This is
Cameron
a big.
Diaz is so dumb. She just keeps falling into these traps.
And that's what the thing in the movie, right? It makes you not like Kimmy in the movie, and that's her name. Joel's right in Kimmy, and Cameron Diaz is kind of this blonde caricature of a person, and you don't really get to know her intimately.
She's just like the bride,
right? She is the bride. She's uninteresting. You're not intimate with her at all, and she's competing with Julia Roberts, who everyone loves, America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that Sandra Bullock? Well,
one of them.
She was at one point,
right?
Until she literally left Kiefer Sutherland at the altar and ran away to Ireland.
No, Runaway Bride. She's
Jason
in that
Patrick.
one too. But this is like way over Mariah's head, by the way.
Oh no, I know this.
Oh gosh,
it's a crazy story, and that actually happened.
I looked it up.
That was right after Flatliners came out.
But I liked the pursuit. I like how the interaction with, of course, all the side characters, and of course this the love between the 2 main characters, or not main characters, but Julia Roberts and Dylan McDermott, and how there's this one scene where they go under the bridge. And
that's in Chicago, right?
Was that Chicago, man? I can't even remember.
That's the Chicago River, like, and you take that famous like boat through.
But they go
city,
under the bridge, and then he starts to sing Tony Bennett or something to her.
Oh.
And the way you look.
Is that Tony Bennett?
Tonight.
Yeah. Right, and she starts to tear. And then they talk about like how the moment just passes you by, because neither of them want to come out and say, "Oh, I love you this way, I love you this way." And I like the movie because it turns out correct, turns out right, and no one, although Julia Roberts was a big AH, she was not a nice person. It comes out right the way that it should have been.
But I think it's pretty cool that you kind of root for this bad person, even though you're like, but then that could also be the worst parts of you.
Right. I didn't root for her though.
That's a key component of a good rom-com too. I'm glad you brought that up, Mariah, because taking a risk, putting every single thing about your career, your dignity, your pride. I mean, John Cusack can say anything, holding like a boombox up outside.
Yep.
I mean, these days you do that, you'd be arrested.
Right? Especially if she doesn't reciprocate or he doesn't reciprocate.
Plus, you'd be on Twitter and everybody would know about your business. And, Would it be wrong, Lacee, to say that as good as Julia Roberts was, because she's just Julia Roberts, she's an amazing actress, Cameron Diaz kind of stole the show? Because she was so effective at playing that ditzy...
I wouldn't say she stole the show, because they really did structure the movie to not allow her to overtake that. I mean, there are parts where it is set up to make you feel like she won, right? Like the karaoke scene where Cameron Diaz just kills. I mean, not kills, but she just murders. Gosh, what was the song? I just don't know what to do with myself.
Oh God!
And she.
Do you know how
horrible.
hard it is to be an actor and to actually sing badly?
Right.
But I read that somewhere. They said
at that
that's
point,
a very hard thing to do.
You know that everyone's rooting for Julia Roberts, and I'm like, yes, Cameron Diaz, because she wins. He still loves her. That it's so endearing. The gesture to get up and sing when she hates to sing. Speaking
of sing, you're kind of burying the lead.
Burying the lead.
You've not even mentioned "Say a Little Prayer for You."
And say, well, yeah.
I'd never heard that song before that movie came out. Wait,
don't know who Dionne Warwick is?
That was Hugh Jackman.
No, that's Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett.
Wow, I am like, I need IMDb clearly, and maybe some coffee.
Right. So there's a lot of these.
That was one of the funniest, appropriate musical numbers that just out of nowhere just like appears in a movie.
So it's a movie that does not, obviously it doesn't take itself too seriously in its own romantic comedy world.
I think that's the point of romantic comedies.
Right.
They don't take themselves seriously.
Mm-hmm. You can just throw this like random
very good
musical number in a restaurant.
Like, remember The Sweetest Thing, also with Cameron Diaz?
Yeah. Gosh, I love The Sweetest Thing.
When they spontaneously broke into song in the restaurant about how, let's just say, how gifted their friend was, or friends, that was weird. I could have done without that musical number.
I gotta tell you that if we had the honorable mention list, and now that we're doing a lot of video, we can't really talk about these dirty things, but Sweetest Thing is a great romantic comedy.
That's your also ran.
What?
That's your also ran. Your honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention. It doesn't. But that's kind of a relationship between these friends, and then the romance is on the side. So it's just kind of like
it is a romantic comedy. Yeah, it's like a girl movie, right. I guess you can say, even though it has that element of romantic comedy.
It's got Thomas Jane, who wound up going on to play the Punisher.
Yeah, that's right.
Who knew?
But there, Cameron Diaz, Christina Applegate. Who was the other one?
Selma Blair.
Selma Blair. What a great
Selma Blair was
horrible
amazing
movie.
Yeah,
trashy.
That is the we can't talk.
That's the kind of stuff that I wouldn't want to watch with my mom type of movie.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, it's my turn. Okay, Auntie Lacee is going to really jump down my throat for this one because my number 2 romantic comedy of all time, Empire Records. There we go. I've been dreading that.
So do tell.
I have always maintained, and I will defend to my dying day, to my last breath on earth, that Empire Records is a great movie. It's also a great romantic comedy because you've got the romance between Liv Tyler and the dude from... Okay, the celebrity that comes and visits the record store, who is the dude from Grease 2. Not a lot of people remember that. Michael, the Australian with the hair. And what's that? I mean, he looked like every 90s kid with the hair and like and the flannel and like the long, and he's probably wearing like Doc Martens and everything like that. But they had a nice love story going. There were actually 2 or 3 love stories in that, but that was the big one. Remember Robin Tunney, like when she shaved her head and everything like that?
I didn't watch this one yet.
You've never watched Empire Records?
No.
You would like them. Well, okay. I've stated my case now.
So what was the great
Here's
love
the
part? What are the... I can't counter argue until you tell me why this was great and what part of the love story that drew you to that and that makes it a great rom-com.
It's got the comedic elements on several different levels. It's really, really funny. Liv Tyler's character, you kind of root for, but more to the point, you can't wait to see her just get her heart broken because she's so whiny and she's so prissy. And in a lot of ways, she's just not a virtuous person.
A few rom-coms have a lot of those kind of characters.
But then when it works out in her favor in the end, it's like, okay, well,
I guess,
yeah, she's, again, everybody deserves to be happy, and you cheer for her, you do applaud her at the end. She winds up with that dude who winds up being art school student.
Oh.
And she's, kind of like she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and her entire life is predetermined and everything. She's going off to college. This guy can only afford to get into like the art institutes, or he sends away for that TV. Do you want to sign up for this art test and draw like this little turtle? Have you guys ever tried that?
No.
Done that art test?
I know I can't draw.
No.
You know what I'm talking? That infomercial.
Right.
I've actually sent away for Invent Help. That one with like the with the caveman.
Yeah.
I've sent one for. I mean, basically all it is, it's just a service that they'll register you for a patent.
Okay, so
anyway,
in terms of this movie, and I'm gonna tell you why I didn't think this was a great movie.
Oh God.
And sure, you can say it's a romantic comedy. I guess anything could be a romantic comedy if you really just try.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just boring. Now, this is my era of the 1990s. I was probably a teenager when that came out. Had a great, fantastic soundtrack, better than Ezra. Could barely say that, better than Ezra. A lot of great artists actually on that soundtrack. I love it.
Did you ever work in a record store?
No. But no, I was a kid. I worked at like a summer camp. But
that's cool.
It was just so boring to me. The characters were really caricatures of the 1990s, right down to Liv Tyler, and the brattiness and we all work at a record store. Oh, somebody steals money, and we're gonna pay for it, and fix it at the end. And you're just like. I have to have, you know what, when it comes to comedies with me, it needs to be really, really smart and funny and stupid or brilliantly smart. So this is right in the middle of flat. Not really smart, not really good. I don't want to influence you because, those are your memories. And
I was going to say, you're not influencing me. You're basically like...
tearing you down?
You're basically deleting...
But
an entire chapter in my life and my love of cinema. So
when we watch these
letting
movies,
me down would actually be a better thing to do.
And I'm sure that maybe Ken has talked about this, but when we watch these movies, things that are happening in your life or whatever time frame you're in, that makes a difference in what's how that impacted your life, right? So it could be that I was a teenager who was always on the go and was like, can't be bothered with this boring.
Because for me, I was out of college already when it came out.
Right.
So my frame of reference, and my life experience to that point was like a little bit different.
But I've tried to watch this before, and I was just talking with our big boss Maria about how it's like Friends to me, and everyone loves Friends. Excuse me if that's your favorite show. I'm sorry about this, but I think it's an awful show. I'm not a big Friends fan.
Oh.
I can't. That's why Terry and I, my wife, were meant to be, because she doesn't care for Friends either, which is fantastic because I don't understand this. Joan, sorry about that. I know you love Friends. I don't get it. But yeah, I just feel like its writing is flat. The character building is flat. The let's just forgive the idiot who screwed us over thing. I hate that.
Okay, so if you would like to comment on anything that Lacee is saying, you can find her at hater@kuam.com.
I am a hater. It's true.
Okay, let me salvage what's left of my dignity by going to Mariah for her number 2.
10 Things I Hate About You. No, the Heath Ledger, Julia Stiles, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. One of my favorite teen rom-coms ever. I love how refreshing Katarina Stratford is. I mean, it's based off of the Shakespeare play Taming of the Shrew, where these two sisters, their father bans them from dating. One's older, one's younger. One played by Jolie Styles, Kat. She's kind of a feminist, unapologetic of who she is, what her views are. The other played by I can always forget her name. Alicia Rennick, I think. Sure. Who plays Bianca. She's kind of the cute, popular sophomore girl who everybody wants to be with. And then we have Heath Ledger as Patrick Verona and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cameron. I forgot his last name. And they kind of make a bet, or not a bet, sorry, a pact, so Cameron can be with Bianca to get Patrick to date Kat so Bianca can go out with Cameron. Even though there's kind of a guy in between named Joey who Bianca wants. So it's like a whole thing, I guess.
Forget the 10 things I hate about you. It's like the 10 subplots within this movie.
That's not the only Taming of the Shrew iteration of that era, right?
Really? There's another one? I know, I like that story.
Do tell.
The one with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh,
She's All That.
She's All That.
no, that's more like a Pygmalion.
Sure.
Ish.
Or is it more of a Taming of the Shrew?
You would say that's more Pygmalion?
Because, he falls in love with
what he has created. He has sculpted his ultimate
pretty sure
dream.
It's similar lines.
Okay, I'm going to give you that. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but okay, that's...
Or I know there was
fair.
a bet for that, but it's a little different than what 10 Things was, I think. But I just
That's
really
amazing how She's All That is not on your list. And She's All That was a great movie.
But I've seen it too much that I'm like, eh.
Well, it looks like it's really high up there, too.
And She's All That is what? This is the 25th anniversary,
in no order,
right?
particularly.
Yeah, there was no order in this.
I saw that on TV the other day. She's All That. 25 years ago that came out.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, 10 Things I Hate About You. One of my favorites. Heath Ledger.
Rachel Leigh Cook is a babe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel Leigh Cook, for
she looks
having
amazing.
been born.
She looks like a child in that movie, though. Okay, back to your movie. Sorry.
Please don't ruin this for
Sorry,
me.
Mariah. She does.
She's on Hallmark now. So
I was all about
Hallmark.
Freddie Prinze Jr., okay? That's why.
But
That's why.
Okay, you want to know how old I am comparatively? I was watching Freddie Prinze Senior when he was on Chico and the Man. That's go. Don't be discouraged. There you go.
All right. So what, Mariah? What did you like about
his father was a good-looking guy. Freddie Prinze Jr. is like blessed by the gods of
Yes,
of
I
beauty.
still agree with
Let's
that.
get to the romance and the comedy in this movie. Why did you find this great?
Well, I mean, you have Heath Ledger in I love Heath Ledger in this movie where he kind of does a little kind of number to win her back. I mean, yeah, okay, there's lying, there's deceit, which is, kind of a little, not good morally, but, it's high school. We're not at our best in high school. And, you kind of root for Kat and Patrick because, they're these two kind of outsiders. Kat's kind of called the shrew. People deem her undateable, unlikable, and she doesn't care. Which is, I love the strength of her character. And then we have Patrick Verona, who has a lot of rumors about him, like, oh, does he sell his liver for money? He's a smoker, he's a bad boy. We kind of root for them because you guys start to see that although he sees her as just to get money, he starts to really fall in love with this girl. And then you even root for Joseph Gordon-Levitt in his little plight to get Bianca. Because, I mean, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's adorable. And there's two, obviously, couples that you're rooting for in a way.
So it's an ensemble movie.
Yeah.
It's funny because these teenagers are interacting. There's that big music scene where Heath Ledger gets up and
dances or sings the Frankie Valli song, the "You're Just Too Good to Be True."
Can't take my eyes off of you.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you seen Not Another Teen movie where they do the same thing?
Yep.
They kind of make fun of that and said he sings Aerosmith's "Janie's Got a Gun" and then everyone picks that.
Oh, that's so funny.
I love that.
Okay,
I love that version.
And now we're dovetailing back to Grey's Anatomy because Skylar, what's her name?
Kyler Leigh.
Kyler Leigh, thank you. Yeah, she's on Grey's Anatomy. She was, and I'm not gonna say what happens to her in like season 6 or whatever.
I heard everybody dies. Okay,
yeah,
right.
She's a Supergirl now.
But I gotta tell you that Heath Ledger too. Also,
that was funny. It's like,
he looks like an adult.
Janie's got a gun.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Janie Briggs got a gun. Wait, she's got a gun?
Now, if you haven't seen that
Tease
version,
the hell out of her. Oh man, that's so good.
These parody movies. I mean, I don't know what about them I liked so much.
I think it's just because they're kind of dumb and they kind of turn your brain off a little bit in a way.
I think it takes those movies.
Thank you for.
Yeah, I thought maybe were mediocre and like really pokes at it, which I liked. Plus, that DVD had a lot of Easter eggs and stuff. If you've ever owned it, that's
really?
How I thought. Yeah, lots of back in the day when they used to put Easter eggs and things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But great choice. I was kind of mentioning, I thought Heath Ledger looked like an adult, so it was very strange.
But I like that he kept his accent though. That was really hot for me. But I think
did you have a crush on Heath Ledger too, Lacey?
No.
All right.
No, probably not until Brokeback Mountain. Even that was
that's a good one too.
It's because it was very romantic and sad and tragic.
Very sad. Yeah.
Obviously Brokeback Mountain is not a rom-com because
no, it's not a romantic
there's nothing
comedy.
funny about it.
But it's a romantic tragedy.
Yeah, there are few movies that are more romantic.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some, like, if we can just deviate for just 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any gay rom-coms that really stand out?
Okay, I got one for you.
Yes, please.
I guess the one, and I didn't want to bring like super obvious ones, except for My Best Friend's Wedding, because I wanted something that people would understand. But the one I was thinking about, I brought it up on my screen here because Jason asks me 5 minutes before we do this show to do it. So I'm looking at Kissing Jessica Stein.
I've heard about this one.
Is kind of and it's not just because I'm in a female-to-female relationship. Well, that sounds wrong, whatever. But just Kissing Jessica Stein is about this woman. She's, I guess, a copy editor, kind of in the news or something. I can't even remember already. But she's kind of tired of dating boring guys, which I often think guys are boring. And so she kind of puts an ad in the newspaper or something, and she reads an ad, and she was kind of becomes really intrigued by this ad, like, wow, I'm drawn to it. And it turns out it was a woman, and it was really based on like a play between the two women. They wrote some play called Lipstick or something, because I remember this back in the 2000s. And they kind of like, they're two women who have never really been with another woman, and they kind of just try it out, like,
That's very good. And I just thought of one rom-com, probably the epitome of a gay rom-com, and everybody likes it, The Birdcage.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Fantastic movie. The Birdcage is so funny. I mean, I've seen it 2 or 3 dozen times. Every time you watch it, you find something new, and it's
Nathan
fall
Lane's
out of your
hilarious,
chair, hilarious.
and of course it's
and not pandering in a way.
Right.
It's genuinely fun. Nathan
so
Lane is
that's
great.
with Kissing Jessica
Nathan
Stein. I got to tell you that there is a
Nathan
big
Lane.
flaw with this movie.
Fillion.
Oh, sorry.
Right. You're and pandering, right? Because it really is playing at that girl on girl action. And the reason I like this movie is because of the intimacy that builds between the two, and two women are very, you're talking about romance, so that's double the romance, right? So the chemistry is nice, it's fun, but at the end, I gotta tell you, just kind of falls flat. But still up there, and still a good romantic comedy to me, because of the way that the love develops between them, or whatever.
Okay.
What happens. And so my remedy to this, in terms of how it falls flat at the end, is I just stop the movie and stop watching.
There you go.
Nice.
Done.
So you cut it off after the second act,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
All right.
towards the end,
Okay, so you cut into your time a little bit, but give us your number 2.
No, that's my number 2.
That was your number 2. Okay.
Right.
Oh, wow. So we just kind of stumbled into that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice segue.
Okay, so my number 1, and I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but I, again, am very, very supportive of this movie. Fantastic director, a Cameron Crowe film, Singles, which came out in 1991, I believe. Right in the height, again, of the grunge movement. It was in Seattle. This is one of the movies that made me want to go to Seattle to be part of that environment, the musical experience. It's an ensemble cast, but they weren't really ensemble back then. Not everybody had really made it or gotten their big break. The only real star was probably Matt Damon, and who's a female lead in that?
I could look it up.
I just had a major brain fart right there. Fantastic. I mean, and there's 2 or 3 different love stories that go on within the film, and it's just woven together so well. It takes place over a certain amount of time.
Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda.
Campbell
God.
Scott. My gosh. How much
Campbell
more
Scott.
1990s could you get?
Campbell Scott from who everybody remembers from Dying Young.
And Julia Roberts.
Matt Dillon? Did you see Matt Dillon?
Matt Dillon, yes. He was a big character.
Wait,
there, too.
what did I
I
say?
think you said Matt Damon.
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Matt
You
Dillon.
meant
I'm sorry.
Wrong Matt.
My brain is somewhere else. Yeah, Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon was
That's
great.
almost
Of course, having cameos by the late Chris Cornell, rest in peace. All of Pearl Jam.
So this
never
was kind
seen
of a
this movie.
snapshot
I
of
think
the
Alice in Chains was in there
early
too.
1990s.
Okay.
They might be. Are they on the soundtrack there?
Yeah, Wood.
Of course.
Which one?
Wood. Yeah.
And then the soundtrack, of course, you and I have talked about this many, many times. The best song on the soundtrack is the 13th and last song, and it's the only band on the soundtrack not from Seattle. Smashing Pumpkins,
Oh, Drown.
who did Drown, and Drown is a hell of a song. Yeah, but I mean, Kira Sedgwick, before she married Kevin Bacon, is kind of like the female lead. She's like the main one.
It's weird. Just playing like a college person in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Seems
Jeremy
a little bit
Piven
older.
has a cameo in there.
So why was this a great romantic movie to you? Besides, without all your favorite,
just because it
1990s
showed
bands
the
being in
struggle
there?
that we were all going through in that time period. It showed what it meant to be young. Some of the characters were a little bit more. They majored in a different. They may have majored in business or engineering or something like that. They had like
Oh,
more
that's cool,
well-to-do
yeah.
jobs. Other ones were just like struggling musicians, and they were waiting tables during the day, trying to working on their music at night. But everybody got together well, and the reason it's called Singles is because there's this apartment complex which kind of makes like a big U, and it's like that. And I've actually been to that apartment complex in Seattle. Everybody goes there, and there's this big fountain in the middle of it. When my friend who I went to high school with took me around there, he was living there. The day I got to Seattle, he's like, "Oh, let's go around there." Turned a corner, and he's like, "Okay, look to your right." And I was like, "Whoa." And it's called Singles because everybody in the movie is a single, and they're trying to find true love. But also all the apartments are there. They're all studios, so they're all singles.
So that's like your Harry Potter world or whatever. 1990.
Kind of, yeah, I guess.
Okay, all right, great. Okay.
But yeah, but I love Singles again. I've seen it so many times, and it's everybody winds up finding true love in the end.
Aww.
Bridget Fonda winds up with Matt Dillon.
That's great, and that's what's great about that movie too.
Yeah,
is
it's pretty
that
hopeful.
you leave with that hopeful, happy feeling.
Yeah, Bridget Fonda is incredibly idealistic, and she's like, all I want is someone who will just say, God bless you when I sneeze. And then,
that's cute.
Because Matt Dillon is like, the ignoramus, musician who's just trying to, and then, she just sneezes on, after they already break up, they're just wind up on the elevator together. She sneezes, oh, God bless you. And she just turns and she's like, okay, he's the one. They start making out on the elevator, and then
I love how simple that is. Like, I just want somebody to say God bless you to me when I sneeze.
It's a really good film, too. It's very good. Okay, that's my number one.
Mine?
Yes,
Mine
please.
is When Harry Met Sally.
Ah.
Yeah. I know, I didn't
What city did that take place in? Was that?
New York.
That was New York?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, but they go cross country, right?
I forgot where they came from. I just know that the main...
They go to New York.
Yeah, they go to New York. I forgot where they're driving from, but I know it's a long journey. But when Harry Met Sally, boy and girl, they meet for the first time. I guess they're driving to New York for different reasons. They separate, and then I guess through the years they see each other, and then they start to become really good friends. They rely on each other emotionally.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah, and of course the one scene in the diner, which I want to go to the diner.
Oh, I've been there before.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been to that diner?
Right?
Cott's Delicatessen?
Do they have a plaque, right, or a sign?
No, if you...
Hey, I thought I was cool because I've been to the apartment complex in Singles. You've been to the diner. Nice.
in the office over there, just walk by my desk. There's a picture of me holding a big plate of pastrami and...
Wait, that's where that is? I never knew that. Nice.
And why else would I go there? No, I
Right?
went there for the food, but of course because of When Harry Met Sally.
The diner scene. Just look it up if you haven't seen
Well,
it.
you can
And
describe what
at that point-
happens.
at
They're
that point
talking
in
about
Hollywood, Meg
faking
Ryan
it.
could do no wrong.
Yep.
She was doing really, really
Right,
well.
she
there.
was the America's sweetheart of
Yeah.
the 1980s.
Yeah.
Final cut.
Why is that movie so enduring? Why do you think?
Well, I like that between kind of where they have couples talking about like how they met and why they fell in love. I thought that was really cool putting that in there. Rob Reiner, thank you for that kind of little segue. Like, because you're starting to movie, like, who are these people? And you start to see like, oh, they're kind of just cute little couples, like their own love story, while we're seeing When Harry Met Sally's love story, or when Sally and Harry's story.
What I would offer to that is what really spoke to me about When Harry Met Sally is, wow, these are just the most normal people you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
It's not, the cheerleading captain and the quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of an adult rom-com, I guess, without the weird raunchiness.
It's like you could actually see yourself in there. Wow, that could be me. This guy, he's just a normal dude, and, she's anybody.
She's a little type A, though. Like when she was deconstructing the salad, I don't want this and I want that, and I want this and that, but I want this and this.
Yeah, she was a bit anally retentive.
Yeah, but she was so cute. And then you have Carrie Fisher as her best friend. I thought Carrie Fisher was amazing in the movie. She's funny. But I just like the kind of...
Also, rest in peace.
Yeah. Where, you have that question, like, can male and female be friends? Well, they kind of answered at the end. They didn't end up becoming friends. They ended up becoming boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But,
Good choice.
Yeah. But, they well kind of had that kind of be, like, the format or the foundation is that they were each other's best friends first, which is really nice to kind of show. And there was no real cheating, just that they relied on each other and loved each other genuinely.
But they couldn't be friends.
Yeah, there was that.
That's that issue with a lot of these stories for me, is that there's always that big flaw of, well, you're saying men and women can't be friends, but they can be lovers. Like, you can't just be platonic with people.
But at this point in history, the whole concept of friends with benefits did not exist. That was not really that was not part of the lexicon.
Yeah, right, but why can't you just be friends with, why can't you just have men who are friends and women who are friends without having,
that question,
right, without distrust and thinking there's always an ulterior motive. Yeah. But it was a great movie, and Kat's Delicatessen, fantastic plays.
You totally trumped me on that one. So.
She wins.
Bow down. All right. Okay, so fittingly, you will wrap this up with your number one, please.
Okay. 1987's Moonstruck with Cher. Have you seen this, Mariah?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I would never have considered that.
Romantic comedy.
Snap out of it!
She won the Oscar for this, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, am I making this
Danny
up?
Aiello.
And Danny Aiello. And Nicolas Cage. I'm not a Nick Cage fan, okay?
Danny Aiello. Wait, did he do Madonna's Papa Don't Preach video before or after this?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was before. It's 1987.
As the dad who kicked her out of the house. Right.
So if you haven't seen Moonstruck, Uncle Ken, have you seen Moonstruck?
Yes.
Okay.
When it first came out.
Okay, I didn't. I mean,
wait, Cher, I don't believe it. Any part of her. I mean, she is very multi-ethnic. I don't believe she's Italian at all.
Oh, gosh, I don't even know what Cher is.
She's Native American. I know she's part Native. She's part Cherokee. Comanche. Okay, yeah.
But she plays this really big New Yorker from a really big Italian family, and the accents. She lives with people who are probably first and second generation Italian, so they all have Italian names. Her name is Loretta Castroni or something. I'm reading it right now. Yeah. Italian. Nick Cage is Ronnie Camerari. I love that.
Is Nicolas Cage Italian? Because he's played Italians on more than one occasion.
What's his uncle's name? The director. Wine. Think Wine. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm not really.
He has Sophia Blank. Oh my.
Oh, Coppola.
Coppola. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. That is
pretty Italian.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
It's your uncle?
No, that's Cage's uncle.
But I love the Italian thing. That's Amore. It's there are different.
Francis Ford Coppola is Nicolas Cage's uncle. That's right.
But there are just different romances kind of going on. There's cheating going on. I mean, the movie is based on cheating also, unfortunately. But it begins with Danny Aiello and with Cher, who is kind of this already old lady looking person who thinks she has bad luck. She just, I have bad luck. I can't do this now. I have bad luck because my husband got hit by a truck. You have to propose to me because I have bad luck. And so, her boyfriend proposes to her reluctantly, and he has a split with his family. So he tells her, you have to go and tell my brother to come to my wedding. He has to come to my wedding. And her brother, Danny Aiello's brother, who is Nick Cage in the movie, he's this kind of recluse baker who lost his hand, and he blames his brother for him losing his hand.
Oh, wow.
Because, he says his brother distracted him, and that's how he lost his hand. But you just think he's this rough character, and all of a sudden he gets polished because he loves opera or something. But it's super good. Mariah, you have to watch this movie. I think it's streaming somewhere. Netflix or
It's also got one of the
Hulu.
best movie posters. The whole
Right.
Moonstruck thing. Cher's like, just kind of like leaning back against the moon.
She's leaning behind the moon. It's funny. It's smart. Olympia Dukakis is in this movie as well.
Oh, that's right.
Her
Olympia
mother.
Dukakis looks like she and Danny Aiello could be siblings. They kind of got the same face.
But they make them look like these old, like New York Italian characters, and it's just fantastic. I love this movie, and I probably love it because my mom probably loved it, and I watched it. She watched it,
And Cher was a really, would you say she's a really good actress? She was good in some very good movies.
she's great in this movie. I mean, did she win the Oscar for this? She did, and
Okay, as good as she was in this, and she was very, very effective playing this role, I thought she knocked it out of the park in Mask. Thank you.
that could be a whole other topic for you guys to explore with Ken.
Real life biopics.
No, but like
Rocky
actors,
Dennis.
singers turn actors type.
Oh, there you
deal.
go.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
If you haven't done it already. But this is it, you guys. If you haven't seen Moonstruck, watch it.
That's a good
If
one.
you have a good date or you want to Netflix and chill or whatever, watch Moonstruck. I
Okay,
think
we'll tell
it's
you what-
very romantic.
Very nice work, ladies. Thank you very much. Okay, before we go and before we wrap this up, our disembodied voice, Uncle Ken, also wanted to say something. You had notes that you were writing?
Yeah, just one movie came to mind, and I really enjoyed it. The late Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire as romantic comedy.
It's another creepy movie where we talk about these boundaries that people cross for love.
Okay, again, he was taking
Right. Love
he was
conquers all.
taking the risk of all risks.
Yeah, for his kids.
Yeah,
For his kids or for his ex-wife?
ex-wife and the kids.
Oh,
of course.
For his ex-wife. Let's be real, he was stalking her, dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
But it was
again,
romantic.
Today that would be
Oh,
sexual
yeah.
harassment.
Right.
Yeah.
To the nth degree.
Comedy, and that's why we're here. We're here to talk
Okay, I guess
about
Only
Can-
because
can I just
Robin
say to
Williams
my-
was in it. Yeah.
Can I just say to my
Yeah.
fellow dudes out there, if your girlfriend, ex-wife, significant other, life partner, whatever like that, breaks up with you and then winds up with Pierce Brosnan, just give it up. You're never going to win that battle.
Right.
You lose.
It's
that's the music
game
business.
over. It's Pierce Brosnan.
All right, maybe Ken will invite me back next time or some other time. for
Well, we
another
would love to have
cross-promotional.
the both or one of you back because next week right here on Real Talk, we are going to talk about the Oscar nominations. The noms came out. I know Mariah's talking about on your podcast that you do with Andy.
No, we haven't talked about it.
You haven't done it yet,
I don't know.
but undoubtedly you will.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, and I am probably going to go off on how in the wide world of sports Black Panther is nominated for Best Picture. I still don't understand that.
Yeah. The award season this year is kind of weird,
Weird? Yeah, good word.
I guess.
I mean, I love Black Panther. I thought it was a tremendous movie. I really enjoyed it. I just can't hold it at the same level as, Silence of the Lambs and The Grapes of Wrath and The Godfather.
You must not understand how the Oscar nominations work, do you?
I know it's very political. I know it used to be 5 nominations. Now they've expanded it to 8, so they do have to fill slots. I get that. I also get that because it is Black Panther and Disney has more money than God at this point.
And it created a movement too, or it really diversified the box office.
There's that too, and it may be Disney just positioning itself for future leverage, but for me, I can't hold it in the same breath that you would hold like some of the films that have won Best Picture.
So excited he's already talking about it.
I know.
Save that for next week, Jason.
Yeah, well, that is going to be next week. Auntie Lacey, thank you so very much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
My pride has been somewhat diminished, but I think I'll be all right. Mariah, thanks as always.
Thank you for having me.
Always very fun to have you. Uncle Kim, thank you very much. Mrs. Doubtfire, that's a great way to end. Okay, this was Real Talk. Thanks again to Tango Theaters, our friends there. They very generously sponsored this podcast, and we are very, very happy to bring it to you right here on the KUM Podcast Network. There is a ton of awesome content, so we invite you to subscribe. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, subscribe to our channel as well. We've got a playlist of all the episodes that we do. We are going to have a lot of fun, and we will see you next time. See you at the movies, everybody. Bye-bye.